All right, we're back at Value Village today. I'm in the mood for a little bit more interesting pieces, things that have asymmetrical hemlines or weird buttons, just things that I can throw on and it is the outfit itself. Obviously, also, you guys know I've been so into the boho resurgence, the Chloe spring summer, but also Chloe fall winter that just came out is incredible. The long mermaid cut skirts, big chunky belts, shrunken stand collar jackets, and then the Zimmerman collection that came out was so similar. It has me so inspired. It's almost very clownish and big and Shakespearean, which I love. I have such an affinity for that. So we'll see what we find today. It's pouring down rain outside and I have this dumb little sheer scarf that is gonna do absolutely nothing, but that's okay because I got a really good parking spot today. So let's head in and see what we can find. Since we're looking for interesting pieces, I decided to start in the top section because I feel like most of the time when we're talking about interesting pieces, it's going to be an interesting asymmetrical top or something with a cool neckline. I love these kind of tops. This isn't necessarily what I'm talking about today, but these sort of cowl neck tops can be so versatile. I own a few of them already, but I just wanted to show it off here. Kind of slinky material. You can pull them off the shoulder. They're just really fun to play around with. I loved the color on this, but this is definitely a basic top. And it had this little waist tie detail that had this built-in bow, which I'm just not really a fan of that style of bow, but the color was super pretty, so I considered it, but ended up leaving it behind. I was really looking for something like this. This peachy color just wasn't quite it for me, but I loved the interest of that neckline and it was getting me inspired to look for more. I thought this was really interesting. It's that ballet pink I've been loving, but I was really trying to hold myself to a standard of not picking up basic pieces, and this one felt just a little bit too basic for me. This one I thought was pretty and had some potential. I loved the micro polka dot in it and that it was sheer, so it would be a great layering piece. So I considered that one. And then I found this one right beside it, which was in all that jazz vintage sort of tie cardigan, but sleeveless. I thought it was so cute, but just not something I needed. Look at this amazing 80s piece. I don't love these bright of colors on me, but if it were in a different pattern, I might have considered it. I also don't usually go for a shoulder pad silhouette, but something about that was just so fun. And this one had the texture that I really like, that sort of ruffly texture, but the color just wasn't right. I don't know. The silhouette is a silhouette of shirt I wore all the time at the end of high school, my senior year. So it just kind of reminds me of that, which isn't a bad thing, but I wasn't inspired to pick it up. And then I don't typically go toward these traditional style clothing, but this was really special. When I passed through it, I could tell it was really good quality, and you saw that vintage tag there, made in Peru. Just a gorgeous piece. Not something I needed, but really stunning. Then I passed through the kids' shoes on my way to the bags, and I had a major mom win. My eldest son has had these dinosaur boots for so long. He's like 3 sizes too big for them now, but I found them in his size. So I was so excited to find those. On my way over to the purses, was just looking for textures or really anything that kind of stood out to me in color. Of course, I reached for this camel bag, even though I already have so many at home. But look at the shape on this. Like, how cool. It was vintage Kubra. The pattern on the inside was super cute, too. It was in pretty good condition, so I had to pick that one up. And then I was kind of perusing down, and there were all these lime green bags, which is not a color I go for. But it drove me to this brown bag with silver hardware. If you watched my last thrift with me, I already bought one of these really recently, and this one was Hobo International. I liked this one better, so I picked it up. Right next to it was this lime green bag, and then I realized it had a Coach tag on it. It was priced at $7.99. I was like, there's no way this is real. I did bring it into my cart and looked inside, and it had I forget what it's called, but that thing. I thought that was kind of fun. It was like a really big bag. Also this fur one, which really felt like real animal fur, and it just kind of freaked me out. I didn't even check to see because I don't know why. It just like was not something I wanted. I thought this little beaded bag was cute. Then I went over to the shoes. I was really drawn to these sort of woven mules. They sort of reminded me of the Orachis I picked up last week. Also, thank you to everyone in the comments who let me know the proper name for them. I really appreciate that. These little wedges caught my eye right here, and I realized that they were Y2K Kenneth Cole, which I also recently found a pair of Kenneth Cole shoes that I love. I thought those were so fun, but I didn't love the rounded toe. I'm not super into a rounded toe. I saw these clogs. I always love a clog, and that was sort of, must have been like a gateway to what I'm about to find, which are these incredible vintage Fry clogs. Yes, vintage Fry clogs, priced at $19.99, so they knew what they had, but in pretty rugged but like still good condition. I was like, absolutely yes. I found these really fun witchy sort of 90s vibe square-toed booties. These are so cool. If I had found these in the fall, I might have been more inclined to grab them, but I did end up putting them back. I do regret it though. Then I headed back to the sleeveless tops. I don't know why I got so out of order, but I did. Another really fun black tie sleeveless top, also vintage. Didn't need it. I thought this Free People tank was kind of interesting, and this leather piece was really, really cool. But the back was not leather, it was just like a knit, which I didn't love, so I didn't end up putting it back, but I probably should have tried it on, because what a cool layering piece to have. Okay, look at this vintage Y2K Abercrombie top. Like, I definitely owned this, I think. I loved the ruffles. I liked that it was a dark blue. And then I found this H&M one, which I thought was definitely vintage. And I thought this was a really cool option to wear like under a jacket or something for work. Very Carrie Bradshaw, but it was in really rough shape. I think it was more modern H&M, so I didn't grab it. I really liked the style of this sort of layered tank look, and it kind of inspired me just to put together something like that. I've been wanting to do more layered tank, more layering in general, but something about that really spoke to me. Wasn't sure about this color. It's kind of that peachy pink that borderlines on not quite my vibe, but loved the polka dots. It was kind of a shark bite hem at the bottom, which was pretty. And then this Harve Bernard sleeveless turtleneck, I couldn't pass on it. Had a little stain on it, but it was priced pretty well, and it's that butter yellow color I love. I had to pick it up. I know it's a basic, but I had to pick it up. Quickly going through the lingerie, I saw this perfect little piece for a Sabrina Carpenter outfit. I just thought that was really cute. And then I hit the vests, and I found this incredible sort of clownish linen button vest. It had these weird asymmetrical buttons. I love the print on it. So this was sort of a no-brainer. And then right next to it, another linen piece, more like a dress actually, but it had these really crazy deep scrunched pockets. I really like that kind of palish purpley gray color, so that went into the cart. And then this I think might be my favorite piece. This very princessy pink jacket with the covered buttons. How beautiful. Moving on to skirts, I thought this was exactly what I was looking for. I think this was, it was my size. 100% wool, really cool button details, but I don't know. I didn't pick it up, I guess. And then I found this more camel colored skirt. I really like the idea of this. I was looking for a khaki pleated skirt for spring. This was pretty close to that, but it was kind of in bad, rough condition. You can't really tell here, but I left it behind. I really liked the idea of this as a layering piece, and I do wish I would have tried it on. It was fast fashion though, and I just didn't think I needed it. Incredible patchwork jean dress from Vintage Paris Blue. So beautiful. I think it would have been a little too slim in the hip for me, so I didn't pick it up, but I did play around with this silk forest green dress that was right next to it. I thought it was really interesting. Moving back into tops, I found this cardigan that reminds me so much of the Jenny Kane cardigan. I think it's the Cooper cardigan. It's like $400. Another sweet little vintage cardigan piece. Loved the color on this. I thought this was so much fun. It's not something I would typically go for. It was kind of in rough shape, but I liked the color. I thought it was a good price. I was kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna test this out. This was the last piece I found, just another butter yellow cardigan. I thought it was kind of cute. Couple little stains, but I thought maybe it was worth at least trying. Then I headed to a mirror to do some try-ons, and as usual, I'm only going to show the things I didn't end up bringing home because I will do a try-on at home with the things I did end up getting. So first up was this really sweet little fairy cardigan I found. I don't think I showed it on camera when I picked it up, but I thought it had potential. It was a little big on me, and I think it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. This was that last cardigan I picked up. And it was all right. It was really sweet, honestly, but with the stains and I don't know, it was a little bit too long for my liking. I decided not to go with this one. I had higher hopes for this. I was really thinking this was going to be a for sure yes when I picked it up, but it's a little too small. You can tell on the sleeves. It just looks too tight and kind of weird. And this one made me really feel like Phoebe Buffet. Even the way my hair is in this, I just totally feel like I look like her. This is definitely something she would wear. And this was cute. I think it was a size too big, so it was a little longer on me than I think it was intended to be. So I opened it up and saw how that looked, and it was cute. I knew it wasn't going to be something I reached for. I found these just randomly in the aisleway, and I decided to try them on, and I really wish I had gotten them. I think the white color was just throwing me off. All right, here is that lime green Coach tote. I really tried to convince myself to love this, but something was just off with the shape. The color is not a color I traditionally go for, so I had to leave it for someone else to find. And this was that brown bag. Like I said, I thrifted one so similar last week. I do think I like this one better, but I just didn't let myself get it. This was just not my color. I liked the silhouette of it. It was a little big on me, which I thought wouldn't really matter, but you could tell like in the neckline area, it just isn't quite fitting right. I was thinking about just taking the lining out and having that sheer layer, but it was like $8 or something, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay $8 for a sheer layer top that's still not the right color, so I left it behind. And this Abercrombie top was so fun. The lace on it was so pretty. I really like that navy blue, but I didn't think it would be something I'd wear often. I found this blue Gap belt, but it fit high-waisted, and I just don't need any more high-waisted belts right now. Really wanted more low-waisted, but it was a great option. All right, this is that Jenny Kane dupe sweater, and it really had me fooled for a second because the structure and the quality on it actually felt very nice, but you could just tell it was a dupe, and the sleeves weren't as long as the original one, and I just left it behind. This was this silk green dress. It was a little too big on me. You can really tell here in the bust and the neckline. It's just a little droopy, but a really gorgeous option. I think if this had been my size, I probably would have picked this up and then layered it and had so much fun with that skirt for the springtime and then obviously into summertime as well. Such a good color for really all seasons. I love that one. This was that really cool linen vest with the huge paper bag pockets. But this was just too big on me and not in a cute way. So I knew I had to leave this behind, but it had a lot of potential. It was a really fun find. Back from the thrift store, holy cow, I kind of overdid it. I really scored at Value Village. I forgot my reusable bag, so forgive me, but I have 2 bagfuls of Value Village. And then I also, just because I was on such a high and I had a little bit of extra time, I did end up going to Goodwill really shortly, and I actually didn't end up filming that, but I did get a couple things that I want to show you. So let's just get into it. First thing, this very 90s minimalism black vest. It is by the brand Vision Apparel. It says it's 100% wool. It's definitely got some wear, but I love the zipper on it. Something I was missing from my wardrobe. I don't have any black vests, and I feel like this will elevate a lot of things. It is wool, so it's also not really a spring piece. But I feel like wearing this, even like with the top I'm wearing right now, sort of like a peasant billowy top or layered over even a button-up shirt, that could be really interesting. I think a piece that I could wear all year round, maybe not in the depth of summer because it is 100% wool, but other than that, I think I'll get a lot of really good wear out of it. Oh, also I forgot to mention, this vest is $2.99. So a steal. I did end up picking up one bag, this one here. I already have a couple vintage camel colored bags in my collection. This was just too undeniable for me. This one is just so special. I love the triangular shape of it. It just adds a lot of interest. And it has brass studs and the buckles on there. The brand on this is Kuba, which I feel like I've seen that before. I think it's a good brand, but I don't know for sure. And this is genuine leather, has a ton of storage. I can fit my iPad in here, not quite my laptop, but it's just a good bag. Okay. You know, I won't shut up about Chloe lately. Like, it's just everywhere for me. And ever since their fall winter collection came out, I've been on the lookout for mermaid skirts, but also big chunky black belts with silver hardware. So I found this one. It's from Chico's. If you know Chico's belts, you know they are the best because they always have, first of all, amazing quality. This is genuine leather, and they're also always very adjustable. So they have this sort of like contraption in the back that can fit a range of sizes. This was marked a medium large. I don't know what the exact measurements are, but it kind of works like that. And then I'm gonna wear this low-waisted, and I love the buckle on it. It actually has a little bit of rhinestone on there as well, but not super blingy. It's just enough that it adds another little bit of texture and you can really see it pop from a distance. So this is perfect. This was $4.99, which is an incredible deal for a leather belt. This looks like it was hardly ever worn. Super good condition. So check that off my thrift wish list that existed only in my head. You know I had to get these. Fry, I'm pretty sure they're vintage. It says made in Brazil. Here's the little serial number. The perfect boho clog. Like, are you kidding me? And I'm really warming up to the brass hardware details. I'm still not into gold, but something about brass I can get down with. And I love the stitching along the edge here. That circle buckle is so good. They're definitely older and they definitely have wear to them, but I think it just adds so much to their character. These were $19.99, so they knew these were Fry and they knew what they were doing. But honestly, such a good deal for what they are. These new would be like, you know, 10 times that amount. I'm definitely going to be wearing these so much this spring, fall, and maybe even into winter. Yes. Oh, I just splashed my coffee everywhere. Good thing this is a pile of brown leather and black wool. Otherwise, that would have been bad. Okay, I did not show these. I found these really last minute. They're a pair of overalls, Black Label No Boundaries, which means they are Y2K, no boundaries, but they are these more tight-fitting kind of overalls. So definitely not your workwear style overalls, which I would still love to have a pair of. I think, honestly, I would probably wear those a bit more, but I just had to pick these up. They fit basically like a bootcut flared jean on the bottom, and then the top is just ever so slightly loose, like an overall top. But okay, a little backstory on these. I have a cousin, Emily. I think she sometimes watches my videos. So if you're watching, hi, Emily. She's like 5 or 6 years older than me. So when she was in high school, she was the cool teenage cousin of mine when I was like, you know, 10, 11, 12, whatever. And I remember, I think it was at her high school graduation party, she was wearing the cutest overalls I've ever seen. I seriously think they may have been these exact overalls. So I don't know why I didn't just ask her where she got them, but I never could figure it out. It's just one of those things you'll never forget. And now I feel like I own them. What is it, 20 years later? So I'm really excited about it. Will I get a lot of wear out of them? I don't know. We'll see. But they were only $4.99. And I feel like if I don't wear them, I can sell them. Tell me what you think. I think they could be kind of fun, styled up for spring and summer, like going to the park. Like, they still operate the same way that overalls do. They're just a little bit more yassified, you know what I mean? Okay, this was kind of out of character for me. I think in my bringing out spring video, I talked a few times about how I was not totally in love with the color purple for me. I don't have a lot of purple pieces, and the purple pieces I do have, I just don't wear a whole lot. But I found this really interesting textured top, and this is kind of exactly what I was talking about. It is like a basic, but it's interesting enough that it can stand on its own as an outfit, and I feel like just with the texture, you can really play around with the silhouette of it and scrunch it up or tie it up and pin it and like do interesting things with it. And the texture of the top just works with that. And I have been seeing a lot of this color popping up for fall. And I know I shouldn't be buying for fall, but I just thought, you know what? This is something I probably will be happy to have in my collection. It's also a Euro piece. It's from France. It's made in France. It's called Pile Alface Paris. I don't know. There's probably a French way to say that I'm not saying correctly, but whatever. It was $4.99. But this one is vintage. It's from France. It just felt special. This, I think I am most excited to have. And it's so funny because if you know me in real life, or even if you've been following my channel for a little bit now, you know that I'm not a pink person. I really love the color pink. I painted my living room the color pink, but just something about it on me, I think it's just maybe my coloring. I'm very specific about the type of pink that I wear. And this little jacket, this little satin jacket with the covered buttons, I picked it up and I said, I don't even care if this color pink doesn't look good on me. The cut and the style and everything about this jacket is exactly what I was looking for. Shrunken jacket. It's very vintage inspired. I think it's actually handmade and definitely older just in the way that it feels. And this bubblegum pink is so princessy. I've been seeing so many like playful princessy outfits, and I do feel like that kind of lends into sort of Renaissance, like Shakespearean inspired, like I was talking about in the intro. I could see myself just wearing this with some baggy denim and a little kitten heel, or maybe even my little metallic flats, and feeling so good and comfortable and feeling like I have a really interesting outfit on, even though it's only 2 pieces. I'm so excited about it. This was $8.29, so a little pricier, but I would have paid like $40 for that at a market or something. Like I will happily pay $8. Next up, I said clown, I said Renaissance, I said Shakespearean, but whatever, same thing. This really amazing linen top, it's by the brand Elsewhere. It was $7.49. This is what I was talking about with interesting. It has interesting buttons. It has an asymmetrical sort of crazy shape there at the top. It has just one pocket on the side. It sort of lays open in the front. This is a size too big for me, but I still liked the way it fit. It was, again, interesting enough that I feel like I could play around with it, maybe add a tie to the back, add some brooches to it to really shape it up. This felt very clownish. This I can definitely carry through the summer because it's linen. That's such a good one. Okay, so that's everything I got from Value Village. And then, like I said, I did make a little cute stop at Goodwill because I was going crazy. This is my dream top. I have so many of these types of tops. Honestly, I'm not going to be wearing this until we're in the thick of summertime, but I couldn't pass this up. Like I said, I already do have like 2 tops like this. This one was Banana Republic, and it was $3.99 and 100% cotton. It's sort of like that poplar cotton. It's just like really cooling and has its own structure. Just a little baby doll construction. So cozy, such an easy throw on. I will wear this in rotation with my other white cotton tops just like this every day in the summer. So love having that. Another Banana Republic piece, so pretty. It's sort of a butter yellow, but also has like a peachy tone to it and has this orange stripe through it. I don't know if I love the coloring on me, like now that I've put it on since I've been home. It was $3.99, but this is also 100% silk. By far my favorite material to put on my body. I just thought this was so beautiful with the little tie at the side. This is also an extra small, so it's a little tiny on me. I just realized too, it has a little pen mark there, but whatever. So we'll see. But like this style top with like a pair of flare khaki pants, like early 2000s era sort of barbecue outfit. I don't know. It's just so pretty. I couldn't pass it up. And then last thing. Oh no, I have one more thing after this. Last year specifically, I was looking everywhere for a sweater with this type of color. It's almost like a sailor collar. If you know the proper name for it, let me know. But I had a sweater like this from H&M. I got it a few years ago and I wore it to the ground. It was shedding everywhere. It was so bad. But I didn't want to get rid of it until I found a new one. And I had to get rid of it. So that was a year ago now that I finally gave it up, but I finally found a replacement, and this is from Halogen. So I think it's just I think that might be like a TJ Maxx brand or something. But anyway, it's a cotton acrylic blend. It feels amazing. It's a zip up, and then it has these rib details at the cuff and the hem. It's just an interesting piece that I could just wear this and denim or this and slacks and look and feel like myself and put together and interesting enough. So I'm so happy to have that. And then one last thing that I got, this blue vintage leather, I think it's a sewing machine carry bag, or it could just be like a weekender bag. I intend to use this as my travel bag for work, like for my laptop. It's a little dirty, but I can clean that right up. It has a great vintage charm to it. This awesome blue color. And I like my other bag for my day-to-day. This one with the longer, thicker strap and the fact that it actually zips up will be better for travel. So I'm excited to put this to use. I'm going to be traveling a little bit this spring for work. I feel like it's a great spring summer color too, which is fun. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know what your favorite find was down below. If I had to pick, I think it'd be the pink jacket. But honestly, a lot of these pieces are going to go down as some of my favorites ever. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to. I post videos every Friday, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.